Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. And today I want to share a really cool technique I have, or I guess we can call it a technique. Something that has helped me on my journey through life and changes and all that fun stuff that life brings our way, slash like working towards something we want. So last week I mentioned about don't get lost in your how, get focused and grounded in your why. So what happens now once you know what your why is, you're grounded in it, super strong, and you're feeling confident in it and you're loving it and you're feeling really good about it. What happens now is that maybe your hows are showing up. Maybe they're showing some like, oh, I could do this. Let's do this, this, and this. And then you can get overwhelmed. You have all these hows showing up. Well, it's about taking baby steps. Take one step at a time. So one of my favorite things is, what is the next right step? What is your next right step? And it has really helped. So again, you know your why, you're super excited about it, you love it. And then you've opened up this space for the hows to come in. Like you have ideas of like, I could do this and this. So what I did when we were planning on moving is I think I only had 4 steps. And I think they were very basic steps, maybe 4 or 5. So I had like a list of, I think 4 or 5 things. And just one by one, some of it, my husband, it was his thing to do. So I'd just be, hey, did you do this yet? And then another thing I could do. And when you're doing something that involves somebody else, it's definitely important to check in with them, have conversations. Like for one, I actually felt like this was me riding this ship. This was my dream, my goal to move. And then the more I talk to my husband, it's definitely a united dream. And it's actually been something maybe he's even been dreaming about longer than I have. He was, like I mentioned a different episode, I was just catching up to his ideas and his dreams that he's just been kind of silently, I guess, having. And I know we've talked about, like before my daughter was born, about moving. So we definitely, he was just waiting for me to catch up. But when you are working with dreams and goals that involve other people, it's definitely important to check in. And we've checked in with our kids, not that their decision for moving would stop us from moving, because my daughter is 6 and my son's about to be 4. So there's no way that we're going to stop them. However, that didn't mean that we didn't honor their feelings and this transition. However, so like we have those, right? So you have to honor and respect the people that are in making this move with you or making this change. If there's other people involved, with this case, it's our children we're bringing with us, obviously. So obviously, it's not just a solo thing. So my husband has things he can take action steps towards as well. So I had he had a little bit of a list, but I think we only had 3 or 4. And then with just those 3 or 4 things, we created this event. Like I don't even have a list anymore. It's just things are happening. I'm sure when we make that move like fully and we have the house, and I'll have like a list of things I need to do, or all that fun jazz. Right now is a list of like things we need to do to stage our house. But that's where you can get lost in all the things you need to do. So I actually, got lost. We all get stressed and overwhelmed. And I'm going to be honest with you right now. I was getting stressed and overwhelmed. I let, even before the stager came to stage our house, or to let us know what we needed to change and all that fun jazz, I was getting stressed out. And I was like, I was analyzing what we needed to do before I was told what we needed to do. And that's where it comes back. What is the next right step? And for us, it's just getting rid of things we don't need anymore. It's decluttering. It's packing up the things we don't need. Actually, to be honest, at that point when I was stressing out, it wasn't so much about packing up the things that we need. It was actually just eliminating, like getting rid of the things that no longer serve us in this house. Getting rid of clutter. Like we were holding on to baby clothes from our daughter because we actually kept it all because we knew we were going to have a second child. So we hung on to everything. And then when my son came, obviously he's a boy. Now we used some of the clothes for my daughter, but we got so, we simplified at that time where he wasn't sleeping. So we never donated the rest of the baby clothes. Plus, we weren't 100% sure if we were, we were good with 2 or if we wanted more. So we kind of hung on to clothes. So now we're just, letting things go, donating things, and it's really good. We're opening up space. So that's the first step. But you can get so lost. Like I got lost. So if you're doing that, you're not alone. I would get so lost and like, I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do that. And oh my goodness, I got to do this. And then you just got to take a step back and breathe and be like, what is the next right step? So for me, before the stager came, I wanted to make sure that we got some of the clutter that we knew we wanted to get out of the way. So it opened up space so she could actually see our house. In the end, she was really good about it. And I'm sure she's seen other houses that were messy too and all this stuff. But I let my what people thought of our house let me rule for a little bit there and stress me out. And then it was also, we talked about asking for help and delegating. And this is where the next step happened is like, I need to find a cleaning person and we need painters. Because as much as I love painting a house, just for time, we literally had about 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 or 4 weeks, I can't remember, where we had to get the house ready for the market. And so it was, what is the next right step? Along with getting help as well, obviously. But it's figuring that out. But yeah, so if you get lost in like, you know what you need to do. And you're like, I have so much to do. Or maybe you know nothing, like you don't have no idea. You just have your why. You're super excited about your why you want to do something. Or you have a million whys. That's cool too. Like you have so many things you want to do. Take a step back and just ask yourself, what is the next right step? And maybe you don't have an answer yet, but you can just like meditate on that or just sit in quietness and focus on your breath and be like, what is the next right step? Because guess what? You don't have to do it all right now. Once you take one step, the next step will happen and then continuing. I find if you get lost in everything you have to do, you get so overwhelmed and stressed out that you actually don't do anything. Maybe you get yourself, you cause yourself to get sick. You have a cold or the flu, or you stress yourself out and you can actually fall into depression or anxiety. There's just so many things can happen if you get lost in everything, to all the to-dos, and not just focus on one. And it can just spiral and spiral. And then you actually sit and you take off a week. Why do I know this? Because I've done it. I've allowed myself to like be stressed out to the point where like I lose a day. And then sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, I just lost a day because I stressed myself out. And then you lose another day. And then you can lose a week. And what I found helps me so much is forget about everything you need to do and just focus on the next step. That's it. Focus on the next step. Now, there's a really cool technique that I read in a book way back, like 6 years ago, maybe somewhere 5 years ago. So I don't even know the book title, but it's really cool. You get a pad, like a sticky note pad. And if you know exactly what action steps you want to take, you can write one on each sticky note. So you do the first one and then you write the second one on the next one, but you only focus on the first one. So if you're like me and you like to-do lists, but like looking at a to-do list can overwhelm you because you're like, oh my gosh, I have 10, 20 things on here. Put it on a sticky note, but only one per piece of paper, like per sticky note. And then when you do it, you take one off and then you take the next one off and you only focus on that next thing. Or if you're more like my husband and you don't like lists, you just know you have a lot to do and you don't really want to write down things. Maybe you just write down the one thing you need, or you just focus on that one thing. Don't worry so much about to-do lists. Just think about the next thing you need to do. What's the next step that you can do? And I've mentioned this, I think, on Coffee Chat or something. I have a Coffee Chat Facebook Live on my Facebook page. And I think I've mentioned this here, possibly. So it's about taking the next right step. And it's amazing. Like when you only focus on one step, then like you don't have to, it's kind of like focusing on the how. You can get lost in that. If you just focus on the first step, then that next step just kind of comes and you keep going. And it's just incredible what happens when you just focus on that next step, because you can get really, really overwhelmed and really stop yourself. Like I said, you can lose like a day, a week in there just by stressing yourself out. And just by asking yourself, what is the next step? It allows that stress to go off. You're not focusing on your to-do list as much as just focusing on the next thing. And like I've mentioned on my Facebook, or like on Coffee Chat, I have a live coffee chat show called a Facebook Live, which is called Coffee Chat. So when you focus on your next right step, it really does open up those next step, like the following step. So when you allow yourself to have space to allow, you can just really open up, and the hows really do come in, and you take action steps from that place in your to-do list. So whenever you get lost in the stress of like having so much to do, just ask yourself, what is the next thing you can do? What is the next step? Like I know for me, having to put our house on the market and stuff, like there's a million things, and I always love it because my husband and I were like talking, we're like, oh, this is this and this, and it's like that's a tomorrow problem, or like a tomorrow like focus, because we can get so lost in like everything. Like we can get lost in the big picture instead of like focusing on the now and what needs to get done right now in this moment. And you can get really, really lost in like the big picture. And when you focus so much on the big picture, you actually, that's when you usually get yourself worked up, stressed out, overwhelmed, because there's so much to do. But when you take baby steps and you do it with so much love, because when you do focus on the now or the next step, you can do it with more love instead of stress and fear. And it just comes so much more easily and naturally, and it just flows better, and it just feels so right. So just whenever you get lost in what you need to do, or what you think you need to do, or your to-do list gets so long that you're just like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do next. Sit back and ask yourself, what is the next thing you need to do? What's the next step you need to do? If you have a big, ginormous dream and you have no idea how you're going to get there, remember last episode where we had don't get lost in the how, focus on the why. And then when you get grounded in that why and you focus on that, then you can start taking one step towards it. So take that time to just take one step towards it, like one baby step towards your dream, your goal, whatever you plan. Or like say you have something coming up and you just feel so overwhelmed, like maybe you're throwing a party or you need to organize something. Like it is really awesome if you can have like a huge to-do list, like if you have an idea, if that's how you work, that is. Like maybe you don't work that way. I know my husband doesn't. I like to have it all planned out. And then you just focus on the next step. If that overwhelms you, then you just focus on the next step and you let those details happen as they may be. I like to see the greater picture, but do what feels right to you. And the biggest thing is just focus on the next thing. And remember, you can, if you have, say you have like 3 action steps and they're huge, like they're pretty big, you can break them down. The other thing is, one of the action steps that I've mentioned before on Coffee Chat is research. One of your action steps can actually be like researching who do you need to contact, where do you need to look, and then that action next. So that's the first action step, research. Big important thing though, don't get lost in research. You can live there for days, weeks, months, years, and then look back and be like, why didn't we do that? Like, why didn't I take any more action? Just did all this research. I know a lot about this and a lot about that, but didn't take any action. So research, great action step. And then the next day it could be like, I need to contact 1 or 2 of these people. So action steps is super, super important to take, but take it small. Like I said, if you have a big thing, like for us, one of the stages is selling one of the stages of our journey here is selling our house. So one is like talking to a real estate agent. And then after that, that's where a lot of the steps came from, like getting the stager in, hiring painters, cleaners, and like packing things up and all that. Like, and then the next step would be like, there's just constant steps. I could go on forever about the steps of moving, but I'm not going to because that defeats the point. But it's just breaking down those action steps. So selling our house, there's a lot of steps there. That could be one. That's in theory, that is one step, right? Selling your house, boom. But there's a lot of little baby steps that are in between. Same with maybe getting a job. Different things, like maybe you want to change jobs, but you don't know which jobs. So you do some research, or like what jobs are out there. You figure out like what are you looking for, what that kind of thing, and then you contact people and you make a resume. All those fun things. You update your resume, that kind of thing. Or if you're going back to school, maybe you don't know the program you want yet, or maybe you do and you do research of which program or how that's going to work into your schedule. Baby steps, though, along the way. And it could even be as simple as decluttering your house. In all honesty, I don't know if we've ever would have decluttered our house as much as we are unless we moved, which, it's forcing us to really clean house, which is really great because I'm excited to start a new chapter with a lot less clutter in our house because we've really accumulated stuff over the years. So it's really amazing. And that could be decluttering your house. Now, there's many ways of doing this. I am not an expert, just living in it right now, living the process of decluttering. So I'm not an expert at all. And there's different techniques and different things, but it's baby steps. So it's like maybe focus on one room at a time, or, there's different things where it's like you focus on all one item at a time. Whatever it is, though, just take one step at a time, baby steps, and you'll get there over time. So I hope this has helped. Just remember, one baby step in the right direction will get you there over time. It's not a race. It's a journey. You got this, and just focus on the next right step. And stay tuned for more stories of the move because they are so coming up soon. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.